Hi guys, welcome back to another video on this Porsche 911. We get loads done in this video. We get all of this front end finished. We get a decent amount of the back finished, and yeah, a little bit in here as well. So yeah, please check it out. Okay, so I'm now going to start looking at this corner. As you can see, it is like a tea bag. I'm going to roughly cut off this outer sill, and I think I'm going to remove the bottom of here as well, just so we've got better access, but that can be refitted afterwards. So yeah, the first thing I'll do is pop off the door and cut all of this out. Okay, so that is all of that removed now. We can now repair the bottom of here. The bottom of the A-post is a bit thin and gnarly. I'm going to replace this whole panel, not least because, I don't know if you can see, but we've got no heater tube in there. And it's been kind of gas welded on in a couple of places. Rear jacking point's all gone. Kidney bulb was here. That's obviously needing to be replaced, and all the metal work behind it. And the reason that I've removed this quarter panel, we will repair this and refit it, but we need to repair all in here as well. So we've now got good access to all the areas we need to repair, and I'm going to crack on with removing this, removing the bottom of the A-post, and then we can start rebuilding. Okay, with the A-post bottom repaired now, I can clean this up and weld this back in place, and then that is the front quarter panel all repaired. Okay, so before I start repairing all of this, I'm going to try and repair this area and the tube. Hopefully the tube isn't too rotten behind all of here. But yeah, let's get this cut out and see what we're dealing with. Okay, so good news, it's not too bad in here. All of the pipe work looks pretty good apart from that bit there. We knew that all of this inner longitudinal would be rotten along the bottom here, so that's not too much of a problem. And we've got a repair piece for this tube as well. So I think the next thing to do will be to repair this tube. Then I can repair this in a bit. We'll give it a nice clean up and a coat of paint in there, and then we can repair the outer piece. Obviously after we've done the tube, and then that leaves the heater tube in the middle and the inner seal and jacking point. So let's get to it. Okay, so I'll do a quick talk through with this repair. This is the repair piece for this tube. Because this tube rots out, it's not all the way back that it's rotten, but fairly far. They make this tube to slide inside this one. This section replaces a section of this. And then from factory, they've got like a little spot welded lip in here that the bush pushes up against. But actually, as you can see, this is all machined in one piece. So not only does this make it stronger, it almost, I mean, to be honest, it makes it pretty much a lifelong repair, because that is never going to rust out because it's so thick before the rest of the car. So a nice repair to do. We've just got to measure this accurately, cut it back. We've got to clean up in here so this will slide through, and then we can weld it in. Okay, so that is the tube trimmed back. I've cleaned off all the excess of the lip that was in here as well, and I've given it a bit of a belt sand in there as well. All of this came out of the tube, which, I don't know, I've seen this sort of stuff when we've worked on acid dip cars before. And if you actually look inside, I don't know if I can get the torch in there. There we go. You can see loads of it still in there. So I'm going to try and clean all of that out because we've got the spline centre that the torsion bar goes into, and I don't think there's a lot of chance of getting it in there while it's like that. So I'm going to clean all of that out now. I won't bother recording that because that's going to be pretty boring. And then I can slip this tube inside there. Okay, so we've now got our jig bracket bolted down to the bench. It's obviously bolted to the tube as well to make sure that's all straight and parallel. And you can see I've got a nice little beveled edge to weld that in. So the next step is to get the MIG welder out and weld it all together. Okay, so that is the tube welded in almost all of the way around. As you can see, it's got a nice bead all the way around, apart from this bottom section. I will finish that weld once I've repaired all along here. It will just make this repair a little bit easier. So yeah, let's repair this piece now. So the new repair panel was fouling on the heater tube slightly, so I'm just warming it up with a blowtorch and then using a hammer just to tap it in so it's got clearance. Okay, so I've just trimmed this panel down and just laid it over the top of what was there, just so I can get this line where it needs to be for that inner panel, because there's a lot of shape there and it's tricky just to kind of guess it. So I've just put that on. I can actually scribe round it and trim it back as needs be. And then once I've repaired the inner, this should be already lined up, ready to weld in. Okay, so that is now all of that inner skin repaired. We've got a flange underneath to weld to the floor when the floor goes in. So the next thing I'm going to do is repair this tube and then put the outer bit on. Okay, so that's the tube repaired now. The next thing I need to do is repair this area, and I don't have a repair panel for it, so I just need to make this section here. So here I'm just using the bead roller to replicate a pressing in the factory panel, and then I'm going to use a sheet metal folder to put the 90-degree bend on it. Okay, so this is the torsion tube area that I've cut out. And as you can see, it's got a reinforcement panel here. And on the outside, it's got these threaded bosses. Now the new panel doesn't come with that. So my very gorgeous assistant over there has prepped all of these panels. So I've just tacked them together. He's going to use the spot welder to spot weld this inner strengthener onto this panel. We can then use the chassis jig bracket to line it all up and weld in the bosses on the outside, and then we can fit this panel. And then, as you can see in here, this is all repaired up, and I've given it a good coat of primer and paint to protect it. Okay, so that is finished now with a nice bead weld all the way around here. You see all the bosses are welded on fully. So yeah, that repair's gone in quite nice, and this one too. Obviously got a little bit in here to do. And Gareth has cut out the inner longitudinal. Well, as you can see, we got loads done in this one, but don't worry, there's plenty more metal work left to do, so there'll be a few videos on this yet. Please remember to hit like and subscribe, leave us a comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.